know how I know I'm getting old?
Do you want to know how I know I'm getting old?
I have a very specific thing that
Go
happened yesterday
ahead.
morning. On my way to work, I didn't have anything for breakfast, so I was like, oh, I'll just go through Jack's because Jack's is on the way to work. And I hadn't stopped in a while, and I was like, I'll get a bologna and biscuit.
Oh, they
Well,
don't have that right now.
Thank you. Listen to my story.
Sorry.
So I knew it was limited time. I just was banking on them still having it. So I pulled through and I was like, I want a bologna and biscuit or whatever. She was like, oh, we don't have those anymore. Well, first of all, my bone to pick is you still got the bologna. You still got biscuits. Just slap them on there. It's not that hard. They got a bologna sandwich on Texas toast. Okay, but my point is, I was like, oh, okay, so I ordered something else. Went up to the window. This is 6:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And this little teenage girl, I gave her my card and I said, real sweet, I was not in a bad mood, but I knew it was a limited time, so I just was like, shoot. So I said, so do you know when the next time y'all will have them is? Is it like this time next year? Like when? And I knew as soon as I said the question, she doesn't know. She said, probably. So I said, so this is how I know I'm getting old, though, is when I continue to try to make conversation.
Oh, Lord.
And I was like, well, I said, I just love it so much. When I was in college,
Oh, no, you didn't.
we would get it. It used to not be a limited time. It was on the full-time menu. And I was going on to tell her this. I said, we used to love it so much. And then I remembered the first time I went to Jack's and they told me they didn't have it anymore. And I'm just like telling her all of this. And she's just like, uh-huh. She didn't look annoyed or anything, but I know in her head she's going, why? I drove away. I literally said out loud to myself in my car, she does not know. Welcome to Press Play Again. 2 roommates, 1 remote. The Rewatch podcast where we dive back into the shows and movies we couldn't stop talking about in college and probably still can't. We're your hosts, Anna and Megan. 2 roommates with 1 remote, ready to laugh, debate, and maybe get a little too nostalgic as we revisit the classics and discover a few new favorites along the way. So grab your popcorn, press play, and hang out with us as we rewind it all, episode by episode, movie by movie. This was episode 15.
Mm-hmm.
That is the question. So it's part 2 to episode 14. To be
Mm-hmm.
or not to be, episode 15 that is the question. Read the synopsis for us.
All right. Synopsis says, on Dawson's advice, Joey attempts to heal the wounds of her romance with Jack, which has been left shattered by rumors and innuendo. Meanwhile, Jack and Andy's father, Joseph McPhee, arrives in town for a get-together, which brings out old family tensions, which leaves Jack confronting his innermost secrets. For the first time in his life, Pacey stands up for what he believes in when he takes on the mean-spirited Mr. Peterson. But the consequences of his convictions are more than Pacey could have imagined when he's suspended from school and Peterson makes his personal agenda to fail Pacey with unethical means. Pacey then sets out to ruin Mr. Peterson by investigating and challenging his authority with a code of conduct book over his teaching methods. Also, Jen thinks that Ty may not be the guy for her when she sees little amusement in his stereotypical comments, especially over Jack's true sexual orientation, while Grams is surprisingly understanding and supportive.
Okay, we are officially 7 years old.
Oh, God.
This episode aired on February 17th, 1999.
Okay.
So we celebrated a birthday in between these episodes.
Mm-hmm.
It has a popularity rating of number 2.
I believe that.
Out of 128.
Mm-hmm.
And an IMDb user rating of 6 out of 128. This
that.
is a top-rated episode across the board.
Mm-hmm.
So how we kind of, not that we disagreed on the last episode. I would not say that. But I think it left both of us feeling a little different.
Okay.
So to speak. I think, well, our ratings were different, obviously.
Right.
And it kind of left the whole spitting of it all, obviously left a bad taste.
Mm-hmm.
And it was it to be continued, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did you feel going into this episode?
I don't know. I think I didn't come in with any preconceived thoughts
You
or
kind of forgot it
notions.
was a part 2 when you first looked at
Yeah,
the
I
title.
did. And, but I mean, like I told you when we got done, I remembered a lot of
Yeah.
what was in it. And I mean, truthfully, like I said too, when it was over, that felt like a longer episode than normal.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, but not in a bad way.
No. Honestly, when I think about part 1 and part 2, Pacey is such an integral character in it, even though he's not even that much in this episode. I
Right.
mean, he has a big part of it, but
Mm-hmm.
he's not in a lot of scenes.
Right.
But when I think about these episodes, he is him and Jack, obviously, but he is who I think about, that storyline. But
Mm-hmm.
really, like, I forgot all about, I mean, even Dawson and Joey going with Jen and Ty to the club.
I remembered that.
And I did once we started watching it, but when I think about this episode,
Mm-hmm.
that's not what I think about. I forgot completely about the confrontation with Grams until it was about to happen.
I remembered
And
it
I
too.
loved it. I can't
Yes.
wait to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I clearly remember the whole Pacey and Mr. Peterson
Mm-hmm.
aspect, even though that, honestly, within the grand scheme of this episode, was a blip.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, I forgot that the dad shows back up in this
I was
episode.
waiting on that.
I mean, just everything. It was like, wow, okay, all this is happening. And honestly, Dawson was barely in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, he's almost in it as much as Pacey.
Yeah.
If not more.
Maybe. I mean, I didn't count any other scenes, obviously, but it's like through the middle of that episode, Dawson just kind of disappears after the club, after he walks Joey home. He's just kind of disappeared. I know he hasn't. In my mind, as I'm watching it, it's like I just went, wait, we haven't seen Dawson in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then he, comes back at the end because we're in his bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
So he just kind of took a back seat in this episode, which I appreciated. And I don't mean I appreciate he took a back seat because of how we felt about him in season 1. It was just kind of like this. It wasn't like they integrated him in every scene. He didn't need to be in every scene. He was not a major character in the Jack storyline at first. So it would have felt weird for Dawson to be in every scene with that. So I appreciate him not being the main character in this episode.
I don't know where to start. Where do you want to start?
Okay, so we've got Jen and Ty.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Jack and Joey.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got Dawson and Joey.
Mm-hmm.
Pacey and Andy.
Mm-hmm.
Andy, Jack, and their dad,
Mm-hmm.
which is really like Jack's whole storyline this episode. But then we've got Pacey and the teacher also.
Right. I mean, you tell me where you want to start.
So, okay, let's just start with Dawson.
Okay.
He kind of, well, okay, we begin the episode, Pacey is finishing out his suspension.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I watch this, I think to myself, how in the world are his parents not aware he is suspended?
Well, they are.
When I watch it, I immediately think he is hiding at Dawson's like they don't know he's suspended.
Well, okay, but I took his comment about he's staying there to not be like he makes a comment about his dad,
right? Torture and death and whatever.
So to me, I took it as he's staying at Dawson's to basically avoid that, or in a protective manner.
Well, I take it that way too, but I guess I take it more as they don't know it all, and if he was at home, they would have to know why he's not going to school.
Well, I didn't pick up on anything that would have made.
I guess it's not said in particular, but because I can't imagine, and I guess we don't have to read too much into it. Parents aren't relevant, clearly. But I can't imagine, well, number one, I can't imagine that a parent would not be called. They should have been at the
No,
school in the last
right.
episode. But I can't imagine them knowing he's suspended and they just let him stay at his friend's house for the entire week. That's why I guess my mind is like, they don't know.
Well, I took it in a manner of like, even if they did know, and even if they didn't want him there, he's just not home because I don't want to necessarily say it as like fear of his father, but like self-preservation.
Oh, for sure. I guess we both see the self-preservation. We just have two sides of the same coin a little bit of like, do they know? Do they not know? That is the question. That's
Ha
the
ha
name of the
ha ha
episode.
ha.
And it does not matter, as I've already said, we don't have to get into it, but it kind of just points to the fact that the parents are really absent, period.
Or just they're not in a place like if I had done this, well, let's say this shoe was on my foot for a second. Like my parents would have come and snatched me up out of that house.
Absolutely.
Um,
That's why his dad seems to be that way too.
he does, but at the same time, think about it. I mean, he's run off with the family car multiple times. Like he gets away with murder in his own way.
Yeah.
Okay, so I really feel like in some ways he's probably one of those kids that they know they can't control to some extent, and it's just not the battle you can fight. I know people like that.
Did you know people that got suspended in school?
I knew of people that got suspended.
Yeah, I know you didn't, but I did not get suspended either. I
No,
didn't
no,
mean
no, no.
that.
I really, but I didn't have any friends
I
that were
don't know
suspended.
that. Well, I think I did, but for whatever reasons, I don't think, I could be totally wrong, but I don't think when you were suspended you could do the work you were missing.
Mm-hmm.
I could be totally wrong about that, but I thought that became like incompletes and you just couldn't do that work. You couldn't make it up because you got suspended. So when he turns that in, all his work, which I'm glad he did. I'm glad they added that in there, but it kind of shocked me. Again, could be different school districts, or I could be totally wrong because I was not suspended when I was in school, thankfully. But
yeah, same.
I'm glad he did it because honestly, like Dawson delivering his homework to him, that's when my first thought was, I don't think they had access to their classwork. But again, I could be totally wrong on that, and I could just be assuming. I also never had any students that got suspended, so it's not like I know from a teacher standpoint either. But thankfully, I taught elementary, so that would have been pretty bad.
That would have been bad.
No, so he's staying at Dawson's, and he is talking about his moral crusade. He's watching Jerry Maguire, so that was movie mentioned. It did feel like such a long episode. I'm like, wait, that was the first scene. Wow, what's next? He does end up back at school though the next day, and I felt uncomfortable for him in the classroom when he had to go back to class.
Yes, I did too. And of course, Mr. Peterson starts to talk about, his poetry assignment that he turned in. He failed him.
Yeah.
And when he starts asking why, he says, because I didn't like it, basically.
It stunk.
Yeah. In his professional literature, something or other opinion, or literary opinion, I don't know. But anyway,
he tells the whole class from now on, it's all going to be subjective. So basically, however he feels that day.
Correct. His personal bias is what he's grading off of. And the injustice to that is just in how unethical it is. He deserved to be reprimanded in some form or fashion.
He did.
But anyway, he tried, and then of course, like we've talked about, Pacey tried to turn in his missed assignments.
Yeah.
It didn't sound like he was even going to do anything with him anyway.
No.
But
he probably threw him away.
Right. But the effort was made, and the class was a witness to it. So.
And Pacey kept his mouth shut this time.
For the most part.
Well, he wasn't. Yeah, he did ask.
Yeah, because he asked why he failed him, and then so you have no advice or anything to.
As the teacher, you have nothing
to tell me how to do better or how to make a better grade, and he says write better. That tells me nothing as a student.
This
poor teaching. Poor.
Oh my gosh.
Like
just disgusting behavior on a human level, in my
correct.
opinion. I know that if we flip the coin and we look at it from Mr. Peterson's perspective, he is the starting point of all of this. But this kid did just spit in your face. So I understand not welcoming him back with open arms.
Right.
But you are still the teacher. So you have to put all that aside, and he has turned in his work. He is asking you for advice or how to.
He's asking for instructions.
He's at yeah.
Direction and instructions.
But like we said in the last episode, this man has not given them any. He just decided when they turned it in, I'm grading you on penmanship.
Right, but at the same time, too, he makes this announcement to the whole class that they're all being informed that this is how he's grading all of their papers. So it leaves, at least to me, the implication that there's other students that he's not impressed with their work either.
Oh, absolutely.
And that they're also going to be subject to this. And there's a few facial expressions made across the classroom as he's announcing this. So it's not just targeted towards Pacey,
but it does kind of feel like if you're not happy, you can blame it on Pacey type thing.
Sort of, yeah.
That's the way
I can see that.
Feel because he is.
Right, but at the same time, I think that he would still be like this whether or not he had been spit in the face or not.
Well, he was, because he picked up. I mean, before that whole thing escalated, he looked at Pacey's and was just like, "Your penmanship is terrible. So this is how I'm going to grade it now. Is penmanship is part of the grade."
Right. Like, it was going to be that way regardless.
He is just a truly miserable human being, and so he's taking it out on whatever trauma he has had in his past. He is taking it out now on the teenagers that he is in charge of, and it's really disgusting, and it's
despicable.
It is. Pacey, though, then we see him like at the library looking for the bylaws and how teachers should be acting, or the standard they are held to. And we find out like the next day he's telling the principal that he has all of this file on the bylaws, the standards that he has that he has broken, that he has not lived up to, and witness testimony essentially from past students.
20 others.
Yes. Now, how he got all this in one night, I'm not quite sure.
Okay, how many other things about this show do we not quite understand how they've happened or the sequence of events? Don't even go there.
I know, but okay. One night, got it. Could he have been doing this all week long while he was suspended?
Well, hang on. He also said that he didn't sleep because she brought up the fact that he was there before 10 a.m.
Well, I know. Before 10 a.m.
I know.
What time does your school start?
I know. Seriously, it doesn't even faze me anymore.
I don't even catch that part. I really didn't. I mean, I think I have in the past because I'm like, okay, is this a Saturday? Like, what is happening?
Right, no.
But, oh gosh.
I mean, what's even crazier is he hands it to her and he turns around and walks away. Like, okay, so you're not even going to go to class today and you're back from suspension. This makes no sense.
Was it the weekend?
No. I mean, she was going into the school. I don't know. It doesn't matter. So let's just keep going.
But I know he stayed up all night. He says this, but then that would mean that all these other 20 people he got in contact with also stayed up all night, because how's he getting in touch with them overnight?
I mean, unless we are to assume that because the library closed in 20 minutes of when he arrived and he was able to find the book, read everything he needed to, and get out, and then called everybody. I have no idea.
Find their contact information?
Well, I mean, back in the day, people had people's phone numbers.
These are past students, though. These are people that
potentially there used to be such a thing as a phone book, and you used to have people's own phone numbers because that's the only way they really communicated at the time.
True, but let's just forget that we should be suspended in disbelief for just a second, and let's just think about what all this would actually entail. Okay. if I were to try to build this file on someone who has wronged me and deserves to be reprimanded,
Mm-hmm.
and I only have a night, because a library, I guess, is this the school library or the public library?
No, I took the implication that it was the public library.
Let's just say they stay open till, what, 8 o'clock?
I doubt that. I would have thought like 6 or 7.
Okay. Anyways, let's just go, let's say 6 o'clock. So then he's got even longer overnight. Okay. So 6 o'clock. First of all, you don't just have 20 minutes. You could check the book out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But now you've got to just think, I know there's a phone book that you can use to contact people. But how are you deciding who to contact? It's not like you can pose a question on Facebook of, hey, anybody who's had any trouble with this teacher before,
Right.
please comment so that I can get in touch with you.
Right.
You know, like, okay, we're not supposed to question it. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Fictional. Suspend disbelief here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So it is just really heroic of Pacey, but it is wild beyond belief.
Yeah.
Okay. He does it though. Principal, it's like she's like, what do you want me to do about it a little bit?
Well,
you're the boss.
I took it as like she does not want to open this can of worms.
I agree.
And she tells him, I hope you know what you're doing. But the sad part is what that also says, if you read between the lines, is that she's fully aware of
she
how
knows.
just.
Mm-hmm. But here, he probably had tenure, which
Correct.
It would be very hard to just fire him.
Mm-hmm.
So he would need proof and lots of showing a pattern and proof of a pattern of this. I applaud him for the work he did in less than 24 hours.
Right.
But
probably less than 12 hours.
Probably. But I just, even though she, at the end of last episode, kind of was proud a little bit of the intention behind what Pacey did and his apology, I know she had a little pride in that for him. Teacher still had nothing done to him. I know what she said to him, but he had nothing done to him. And then now Pacey was going to just go back to class and be done. Mm-hmm. But it's continuing to happen, and he knew, I mean,
it's escalating.
It's halfway through the school year. It's more than halfway through, but they still have plenty of time left, and it was only going to get worse. And it would continue to happen past them. It would happen to other students.
Correct.
And so I applaud Pacey for taking an initiative and doing something to try to make a change. Going about it in the right way this time.
Right.
I mean, finding enough proof and evidence, not just going to the school board and complaining about this, but showing what is happening to them.
He found a legal way to go about doing it.
And he apologized to the principal for he said, I'm sorry I went around you, but I've got to do something.
Right.
And I appreciate him saying that and acknowledging that.
Correct. But he also says he's doing the best that he could under the circumstances that he has.
So he's going to go to the school board. He's already sent a copy to every single school board member.
Again, before he's ever even shown up.
And we have to think, Pacey probably didn't even know what the school board was before this situation.
No.
Much less how to know who was on it. Okay?
Okay. Pacey, from a personal standpoint, I really think Pacey has a case of ADD or ADHD where, some of us who have it can get in this hyperfixation, hyperfocus mode where we dive full-fledged all in, and it's like we're lit on fire and we get it all done, baby, within a few hours, but it would have taken a week for somebody else.
Now, well, that's what I was going to say. It probably is very true if we're going to go with the overnight scenario here. But an easy way to fix this to where it's not, this is unbelievable that he did all this, would have been to light him on fire at the beginning of suspension, and then he spends the entire suspension gathering all of this. an easy fix. They would not have even had to dwell on it. Just be like, see him working on it, like show 2 scenes of him working on it and Dawson asking what he's doing. But,
it's not as heroic if he
it's
didn't do
not.
it
It's
overnight.
not. It's not. But also Pacey, how he is in this episode, it's very quiet. It's not like over the top. His character is not over the top and it's like loud. He is just very like straightforward, like, I gotta do this. This is what I'm doing. And even when he goes into school that day and sees the note that Mr. Peterson is not there, he sees him and he walks in the classroom.
Yeah.
He still is very calm until he's not. But I understand, it's like whiplash a little bit of like, Mr. Peterson is like, that was the most admirable thing you've done, and I'm actually insinuating that he's proud of what he did.
Well, he tells him not to ruin it with an apology.
Yeah, and Pacey's like,
what do you want from me?
Yeah, like, it's so.
All right, that also leads into him saying that, you came here to learn from me. And Pacey tells him, and I have, that I've learned that respect is not commanded out of fear, but that it's earned from compassion or having compassion. So then he asks Pacey, should I respect you? Because where is your compassion for ending my career? Or for you being responsible for ending my career? That is false. He is trying to place the blame or point the finger and deflect it at Pacey. But at the end of the day, you, sir, are responsible for your own actions.
He's
avoiding.
And what you've done. He's avoiding from the get-go. He is retiring early because he doesn't want to face.
He's a coward.
The idiot parents.
He's
telling
a coward.
him what he's done wrong for 30 years. Yeah.
Right.
Because he knows
he'd rather eat dirt.
He'd rather eat dirt.
Well, buddy, go outside.
Go for it.
Yes.
I mean, it is just, there's no apology from him in any way about like how he has treated anybody.
No, he thinks he's justified.
And let's take Pacey out of it. Let's say that he doesn't even owe Pacey an apology. Let's forget that for a second.
Okay.
Jack, countless, at least 20 other students from the past. That's probably pushing it. There's probably a whole lot more.
Right. I mean, this isn't something that just started overnight.
No. And let's also, this is just like hypothetical. It felt weird coming out of my mouth. Sorry, it was like, is that the right word? It is. Anyways, let's say hypothetical here for a second. That other parents have gotten involved at some point during this man's 30-plus year career. And he's calling them idiots to another student. So can you imagine that if a parent called him to discuss something about their child in his class, the tone of voice, he probably talked down to them, made them feel stupid and less than, like he is the professional and the expert. I just can't imagine how many people actually, if Pacey had actually had enough time, how many people he could have actually gotten to corroborate this.
But at the end of the day, the result would have still been the same. He would have still been the coward that he is, and he still would have tried to excuse himself without having to deal with the repercussions or take responsibility for his actions.
Yeah. And I do think he owed Pacey an apology.
Oh, 1,000. He owes more than Pacey.
I know, but I had said just a minute ago, let's take him out of it. But I definitely think he does owe Pacey an apology. Pacey apologized for the spitting, so let's forget about that. Pacey apologized for spitting in his face.
Right.
So what?
Oh no, go ahead.
No, so I was gonna say, like, let's take that out. Like, he needed to apologize to Pacey for even all the things he said before that, for just continuously pushing and just poking at him. And probably not the first time all year either. Like this, we're more than halfway through the school year.
I mean, we've been seeing this pattern
horrible
going on for a while in this class. I mean, it's been building and building and building. And I mean, he tries to make the statement that he was going to retire in 6 months anyway. I don't believe that. I think this is just his way of trying to just justify and make it right to himself and move on. But I mean, a bitter, sour old man like that does not need to be an educator.
No. All the blame on Pacey and say, you're responsible for my career ending.
But that's his narcissistic way of, he doesn't see himself as being in the wrong.
With his dad, like placing all the blame on him, and why can't you just do this, and why can't you be like this, and you can't even fish right or put the pole in the right place or whatever. So he already has to hear this like at home, and now when you see kids having to deal with this from all different angles, you just want to say, you are not what they say you are. You are enough. You are a kid and you don't deserve that. And I look at, and we see him when he's dealing with it with his dad, like he's heard it so much and he does carry it on his shoulders. But I really just want to know, I don't know what I think. I want to know, like, does Pacey feel like he is a little bit to blame for Mr. Peterson being, well, he didn't get fired, ending his career?
Well, the look
does he take it as some blame?
Yes, by the look of his face after Mr. Peterson says that to him, his face falls and he looks down at the ground like he's accepting that as something that he's done.
Just add it to his
right. But that's when I looked at you and was like, but it's not his fault.
No, it's not. And that's really what you want to say to anybody who is listening to this repeatedly about themselves. Or I just want to say, it is not you. You did not do this. An adult should be taking responsibility for their own actions.
Right. And
were you in the wrong at some point? Absolutely. But he is still an adult and he is still the teacher in this room.
Right. And that's the danger in somebody like that being in the role of authority that he had. And I do say had, because he is no longer in a place of authority anymore now that he is leaving. But at the end of the day, it is truly dangerous that these people who are supposed to be educating the kids, and if they don't build them up, they're at least supposed to be preparing them for life ahead so that they are able to be successful human beings in the big world as adults.
Yeah.
And you're literally undermining and purposefully saying hateful things that tear them down and force them to blame themselves for things that were not their fault.
Yeah.
Yes, his actions were out of line for a few things. True.
Yes.
But either way, the real problem here still comes back to the root of it being Mr. Peterson.
And if they're not saying hateful things, they're grooming them.
Right.
Miss Jacobs.
I know.
And so back in season 1, Pacey takes all the blame for that to try and save her, because he does like to be the hero.
Well, it's an interesting juxtaposition between the two. They're both English teachers, like you talked about after the show was.
It is a miracle that these kids understand literature.
It really is. But it's I found it interesting. If you weigh both ways that Miss Jacobs, he saved her career or attempted to, even though she ends up leaving. And I'm about to make a statement that sounds almost like I'm validating what Mr. Peterson said, but that's not what I'm trying to say. He's involved in what ends up ending Mr. Peterson's career.
Yeah.
He tries to save her, but he seeks, I don't want to say punishment, but having him held accountable or seeking accountability for him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Anyway. These teachers need to take accountability and responsibility for their own actions, both of them.
They do.
Pacey should not be holding them accountable or taking responsibility himself.
Right.
He is the kid, but
yeah.
Okay, so I brought up his dad. So let's move to Andy's dad. shows up because a week after this incident has happened, the counselor has finally called their father
and told him that he needs to leave work and come straight there from Rhode Island.
Okay. Now, when it was not said when the counselor technically called him. So he could have called when it first happened and the dad just didn't come yet.
Right.
But I kind of watch it as he just called and he came.
Correct. And it also left me questioning, what do we not know that's taken place in the last week?
Exactly. That's what I was getting at. That's why I was like, wait, well, they didn't technically say when he called. But that's what I was thinking too. Like, why call now?
Yeah.
Things had kind of not died down because we see kids are still saying stuff to him. But Jack is handling it better than Joey.
Yeah.
So, like, has something happened that we just have not seen? And Mr. Milo has he been trying to call the dad? Who knows? But the dad has just now shown up. Andy is ecstatic.
Yes.
Jack is not, to say the least.
Yes.
And the dad wants to take them to dinner. Dad is not worried about the mom whatsoever. He is worried about the image of the family, basically. And Andy, what I got from this is Andy is really afraid of silence and like the uncomfortableness of silence. She is worried. Honestly, I think she's also worried that the conversation will turn to Jack and the whole thing. And so she's just, I'm on the honor roll and mom's on new medicine and just like constantly talking.
But I feel like too, she's just trying to do anything for his attention.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, yes, she's nervous chatter, just filling the air and the space because she's afraid of it not going well at dinner in some regard. Because, I mean, you can tell how badly she wants his approval and for him to be proud of her. And, you know,
when she says later, we want him to be here. We need to do everything we can to make him stay here. So she's trying to essentially win him back to them with all of her accomplishments. And Jack says, you can list all of your accomplishments you want. It's not going to change anything.
Yes, but it's not entirely just her accomplishments because she's talking about her mom's on other medication. So like she's trying to paint this picture of like life here is not as bad as it was, or it doesn't look like it did, essentially. Or that the optics are not as bad as you might think. But I mean, we obviously know what a lot of this still looks like. You know, you can feel and see the tension with Jack. And I mean, it was very uncomfortable to hear it brought up that, and I mean, part of this was dinner, part of this was after at their house, you know, that bringing up Tim and their dad telling Jack that you don't have Tim to hide behind anymore, and that, you know, people actually pay attention to you now, which is a really sad thing to hear a parent say to a child. And then that eventually turns into the statements that Jack makes before their dad is about to leave, that, you know, Tim was the real son and I was different. I mean, that's a load to bear just as a kid to begin with, let alone dealing with questionable things internally. I mean, it left me wondering, what was Tim like to some extent? I mean, obviously they imply that Tim was the favorite child in some regard, but at the same time, I don't know, the dad is just very hateful and he's just so disconnected as a family member. Does that make any sense? I mean, regardless of whether or not, let's say, because do we even know if they're divorced or not?
They're not. He just left.
Okay, that's what they're just kind of like separated or whatever.
I mean, I don't even know if that would be officially what it is.
Right,
he just literally
he's
left
gone
for work.
Right. But anyway, I just, he literally acts like he has zero care in the world, other than the fact that the counselor has called him, and it's
And that's not because he cares about his children. That's
no,
because he's worried about what this is looking like to
correct.
everybody else.
That's what I was about to say. He's more concerned about the
Mhm.
optics.
He's very cold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not fatherly at all. But then that still leaves the question of if Tim was a real son versus implying that Jack is different and not, then like, was he more fatherly when Tim was alive? And it's just he's so it was just such a hard break when Tim died. Like, do you follow me?
Yeah, I mean,
We're also led to believe that
I
their
do
mom,
think that could very well be the case. I mean,
right? I mean, because didn't we learn that their mom didn't start having as much like
yeah, it
trouble
was.
until Tim died? Okay,
She
I don't
just
know.
couldn't process it, could not move past it or work through it, I should say, instead of move past it. She couldn't work
Right.
through it. She blamed herself. It's really sad that even we have to think about. I'm sure Jack has been dealing with this longer than since he's been in Capeside. I can't imagine that it just all of a sudden happened. He's probably had these thoughts and feelings before.
Well, he says that if he doesn't say that he's been dealing with it for a while, he's saying that it's too much and it hurts. He
Yes,
can't keep
yes.
doing this anymore.
But my point of that was even before that, it's like he's not been able to do anything. Forget this. And what his dad must be thinking about this, he's not been able to do anything to make his dad proud of him because he's constantly been in the shadow of his brother. And so it's just really sad that like he kind of wrote his dad off the moment his dad left, and that just makes me really sad. And we see finally in this scene when he is breaking down, telling his dad, ask me the question again, ask me again, and he's crying and he says it, and the dad's like, no, you're not. This whole scene, we see Andy finally look at Jack, and she doesn't just see like, oh, he's admitting this, or she sees his pain for like the first time, that this is not just about is he or is he not. This is, my brother is hurting from so many different things, and this is just one more thing that I have not even realized he is hurting from.
Well, he says, I can't try anymore, talking about trying to be what his dad wants him to be because it hurts. And then he says, I don't want to be going through this, but I am. And then his dad is telling, Andy goes over to him because he's crying, and their dad is like, stop crying, stop crying. And Andy stands up and says, no, basically, like, get out. If this is the way you're going to be, get out, leave. And the dad leaves. I mean, Father of the Year award.
How does
right
it
there.
start when Jack is like, your wife is, I don't remember what he says about the mom. He doesn't say she's losing her mind or going crazy. I forget what he said.
I don't remember.
Your son died. Your wife is losing her mind. Your daughter has been on prescription pills for the past 2 years, off and on. So he's saying all these things, and the dad is so unfazed.
Yeah. It's like it doesn't even register or compute, and he doesn't care.
No. Out of sight, out of mind. He's going back
It's not his problem.
No. Figured out. Now we see these two kids, these two teenagers who have not looked more like kids than they do in this moment. And I know they're not in real life. They look like just children who need anybody.
Yes.
And they have nobody but each other. And it is sad that they are just alone.
I mean, I kept wondering in multiple scenes, like, where's the mom?
I know.
And then when they're at their house, like, we don't see her.
The dad does come down and say, I've got 2 nurse companies coming to help with your mom.
Right.
It's like, but money, just paying for things and just taking care of it in that way, that's not what they need.
No.
They need an actual adult who can help them. My gosh.
Yeah.
I can't imagine
Mm-mm.
I really can't. And I know that is like an actual thing that people deal with,
Mm-hmm.
being a child and having to be the adult and the responsible one in their home because their parents can't seem to step up and do it, or they have
Right.
their own demons and struggles that they're dealing with. I can't imagine because I did not grow up that way, and I'm so thankful.
Same.
I'm so thankful because it is heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh. I mean, we've got a different version of this within each of these characters, and I say different version
Mm-hmm.
truly because Dawson is his parents are kind of absent, but
Yeah.
not like, but he chooses to kind of do things on his own.
Mm-hmm.
But he has been raised to be pretty confident and independent.
Mm-hmm.
Pacey has no one to believe in him, so forget that.
He's making it up as he
got,
goes.
yeah, you've got Jen who grew up way too fast.
Yeah.
In every way possible. And she had parents, but they just didn't.
No, they
were
offloaded her to
cold
Grams.
too.
Yeah.
They sent her off to Graham's. And Joey is like one that really is closer to the Jack and Andy situation in the
Mm-hmm.
sense of she's being raised by her sister, but
Mm-hmm.
and being raised is like a loose term because
Correct.
really they're just living together.
They're coexisting.
They are. I mean, Bessie's barely there.
Yeah.
I know that's the show, but anyways, it's just like these kids, and we joke about these teen dramas. The parents are never anywhere. The grown-ups are always gone, and I know it's written that way, but it's also like sad when you really dive into these characters that like they really have nobody but each other.
No, the dysfunctional side of all of it is,
which is why I think it is so awesome as this show goes on that Graham's becomes such a central figure to every single one of them. Because I know, like, Joey is grateful to Bessie. Dawson does have his parents. But Graham's becomes, for each one of them, Graham's becomes the person that they can rely on, and she is like the constant in each of their lives. And I love that.
Yes.
Which is what I'm so glad we're getting to, which kind of leads us into Graham's in this episode.
Yes, I wrote in all caps. I love Graham's.
Me too. It was so good. So Jen and Ty take Dawson and Joey to this jazz club, and the conversation turns to, as it does, because this is what's going on in this small town, and so obviously they're all talking about it, Jack and the situation. And he starts talking about it's his choice. If he doesn't want to be, if it's a
quacker,
walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
It's a duck.
And then he says, he calls him a fruit fly first.
Yeah, he
says, why does she, if they are so good together, talking about Joey and Dawson, why is she choosing to be with a fruit fly? And Jen is offended, and she's like, what? Don't call him that.
Yeah.
And so the conversation turns to, well, he's choosing this. This is his choice. And she's like, it is not. And so they have this conversation. I am on Jen's side in the sense of like just defending. So that is not.
It leads straight into, I appreciate Graham's perspective of Jack needs not your judgment. He needs your love and your tolerance, because he is probably scared and very confused and just all the things, right? So if anything else, what he needs most is for people to be there for him, so that he can figure out and navigate what he is feeling and going through.
Yeah.
And Ty just further underscores his hypocritical, wishy-washy, Bible thumping character.
Well, and he thinks he's gonna have Graham's on his side.
Yeah.
When he says, Mrs. Ryan, what is the passage?
Yes.
What is the chapter?
Yeah.
What is the chapter that condemns homosexuality as a sin? And she says, I believe it is Leviticus.
Yes, yes.
And Jen is immediately, nope.
I don't need y'all ganging up on me.
So, but then when Graham finally puts her foot down and says, what I have to say is not directed at you, and says what you just said, and then she says, let's save judgment for someone much more experienced than you.
Yeah.
It is not, that's what we have said before, though. You and I have said,
Yes.
whether you agree with it or not, it's not your place to judge them.
No. We'll all answer for everything
Exactly.
on Judgment Day.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, sitting there and trying to look down your nose and point a finger only makes you look like the fool.
Well, to me, a lot of that can be attributed to, the word they keep using is his religion.
Right.
Religion. It's not, which I know it's TV, so I don't expect.
And even in the context of it, when it was written, late 90s, early 2000s, all that, it was a different time.
I know.
Religion was a different word back then.
Yes. I mean, that's what it was. I mean, yeah, it wasn't about.
The connotation has changed a little bit in today's world.
Yes, it has.
But
as I'm watching it in today's world, I'm going, man, how did we not? It was very, religion is so restrictive and just like rules and judgment.
It's rules, and it's like routines and rituals and like sacraments and things like that. And it's not.
To me, it focuses way more on your failures.
Right,
than it does on
right. So
God's grace and mercy.
It's the incorrect concept of do good, get good, do bad, get bad. And at the end of the day, grace is freely given.
I would really love, and we were 7 years old at this time, so I don't know that I would be able to find somebody. I would love to talk to somebody who was kind of dealing with what Jack is dealing with. I would love to talk to somebody who was dealing with it in real life and like what it actually felt like in the 90s, like what it felt like for them in the 90s, early 2000s. Like, how scared were they? Did they have supportive family members? Because Jack has been fighting it. I mean, it's not like he has been just trying to hide it. He has literally been fighting it.
Correct.
And
Joey's been denying it.
Oh my gosh, she has been denying it more than him.
Yes.
Poor girl. And I say poor girl as in like, come on girl, stop. Like, I'm cringing at you. It is so uncomfortable.
I'm cringing at the both of them.
Yes. But again, he's just trying to fight it. And he's trying to convince himself that it's not true. She is also, though, trying to convince herself. Now, the conversation between Joey and Dawson, though, when he takes her home and she looks at him and says, am I sexual? Now, I understood her. Like, I understood this conversation that Joey's having. Would I have worded it that way? No. Like, at that age, I would not have asked it that way. But I get what she was saying. Yeah. It's what we said in the last episode of, like, is it me? Did I do this to you? You know what I mean? Like, did I do this?
Right.
Is something wrong with me?
Right.
And she's having this whole episode is her, like, dealing with her own emotions of it. Because it would not be realistic for a 15 or 16-year-old to immediately put their own feelings aside and just be like, what can I do for you? It wouldn't be realistic for a teenager to do that. So it is realistic that she's having her own battle of like, what does this say about me?
Yes.
But Dawson's response, this right here, I think I'm going to separate my MVP into two different scenes. One just being my favorite scene of the episode, and one being like MVP, give it up for him, give him his flowers on this, is when he says back to her, you are sexual, but the way he says it is, it's in your wit, it's in your intelligence, it's in your feistiness, it's in your anger, it's in the way you move. So it's not just the way you look. Yes. The way he's describing her, this is him describing somebody he loves and what he loves about her. When he described what he loves about her to her dad in the season 1 finale, I was like, stop it. You could be talking about a stranger on the street. Right. This right here, though, was like he knows her, and this is what he sees when he looks at her. It's not just physical. It's in the way you move your body, like the classiness of you and your wit. And I just loved how he described her and how he answered her. It was my favorite. Oh my gosh, I loved it.
It was good. And I agree. I totally appreciated the fact that, I mean, I made a note. He tells her all the reasons that she is sexy, and that basically outlines it that it, it's not physical things that he really names, and it's the stuff. Personally, what I appreciate is it's things that won't fade.
Mm-hmm.
It's what
it's things that really just get stronger with her. Yeah,
right.
And that continue to bloom.
Who she is.
Yes. And she grows more into each one of those things as the show progresses. When she finally starts to see that she is more than what she's been given herself credit for, which her and Pacey got to work out their own things in that area.
But he also asked her why she chose Jack.
Yeah, it's not why he chose you.
Right.
It's why you chose him.
Because going back to the scene at the jazz bar, while they're up dancing and Jen and Ty are talking, and he's like, you know, if they're such a good couple together, why aren't they together? I mean, it is still a question, because so two of my favorite scenes in this episode were when Ty goes up to play the piano, and you've got the three, Jen, Dawson, and Joey, sitting at the table.
Yes, this is my favorite scene.
Yes.
It was so
I wrote
funny.
in all caps, I love this
scene. It was a breath of fresh air.
Yes. It's also a main part of why I gave it the rating for this episode that I did.
Okay.
But my other favorite scene in the episode was with Grams.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are my two favorites. But going back to the scene there, you know, it is a question, and we've been hearing it and seeing it for the last couple of episodes, where it's like Dawson makes the joke that, you know, I'm sitting here between two women who dumped me. I'm pathetic. My gosh. And, you know, they've had at least one round of the usuals to drink, which is humorous. And that's one thing that I remembered about this episode from the time that we'd watched it, or the one time I've seen it before, was, you know, I mean, yes, we've seen them drink on this show before, but it just cracks me up that somehow they're getting away with ordering a round of the usuals. And, you know, Ty's the one who says it first. He goes up on the stage to play this piano. And then, you know, they're laughing about this situation, because then they all start talking about each other's love life.
Well, Jen says he's got issues, and Joey immediately says he's perfect for you, and they just laugh. It's just so funny.
And then she says something about, well, you know, my boyfriend might be gay.
Oh my gosh, yes, I loved it. It was like core friendship right there. Yes. It felt like, oh my gosh. Yes.
It's like, if y'all could all get out of your own ways and out of your own rear ends, y'all could be the best group of friends in the whole wide world.
Absolutely. All right, that's where we're hitting pause for today, because clearly we had a lot to say about this one. We didn't want to rush through it, so we're splitting this episode into 2 parts. Trust us, you're going to want to come back for part 2, because things only get more chaotic, more dramatic, and honestly, more unhinged from here. Make sure you're following the podcast so you don't miss when the next part drops. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button so it shows up right away. In the meantime, let us know your thoughts. Are you on our side, or are we totally off base? We need to know. Thanks for listening to Press Play Again, 2 roommates, 1 remote, and we'll catch you next time for part 2.
Roll the credits. Press Play Again, 2 roommates, 1 remote is fully DIY. Editing, us. Producing, also us. Recording, yep, still us. Posting it everywhere, shockingly, us again. 2 roommates, 1 remote, 0 team. So please clap accordingly. Thank you very much.